Nearly all countries in the world are parties to the 1994 United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC. The goal of the UNFCCC is to prevent dangerous human interference with the climate system. As stated in the convention, this requires that greenhouse gas concentrations are stabilized in the atmosphere at a level where ecosystems can adapt naturally to climate change, food production is not threatened, and economic development can be sustained. The UNFCCC does not itself restrict emissions but rather provides a framework for protocols that do. Global emissions have risen since the UNFCCC was signed. Its yearly conferences are the stage of global negotiations. The 1997 Kyoto Protocol extended the UNFCCC and included legally binding commitments for most developed countries to limit their emissions. During the negotiations, the G77, representing developing countries, pushed for a mandate requiring developed countries to take the lead in reducing their emissions. Since developed countries contributed most to the accumulation of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, per capita emissions were also still relatively low in developing countries, and developing countries would need to emit more to meet their development needs. The 2009 Copenhagen Accord has been widely portrayed as disappointing because of its low goals, and was rejected by poorer nations including the G77. Associated parties aim to limit the global temperature rise to below 2 degrees Celsius. The accord set the goal of sending $100 billion per year to developing countries for mitigation and adaptation by 2020, and proposed the founding of the Green Climate Fund. As of 2020, only $83.3 billion were delivered. Only in 2023 the target is expected to be achieved. In 2015 all UN countries negotiated the Paris Agreement, which aims to keep global warming well below 2.0 degrees Celsius and contains an aspirational goal of keeping warming under 1.5 degrees Celsius. The agreement replaced the Kyoto Protocol. Unlike Kyoto, no binding emission targets were set in the Paris Agreement. Instead, a set of procedures was made binding. Countries have to regularly set ever more ambitious goals and re-evaluate these goals every 5 years. The Paris Agreement restated that developing countries must be financially supported. As of October 2021, 194 states and the European Union have signed the treaty, and 191 states and the EU have ratified or acceded to the agreement. The 1987 Montreal Protocol, an international agreement to stop emitting ozone-depleting gases, may have been more effective at curbing greenhouse gas emissions than the Kyoto Protocol, specifically designed to do so. The 2016 Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol aims to reduce the emissions of hydrofluorocarbons, a group of powerful greenhouse gases which served as a replacement for banned ozone-depleting gases. This made the Montreal Protocol a stronger agreement against climate change.